Let's study 1/2 is equal to 2/4. So here we see we have one of two equal parts. There it is. And that is exactly equal to 2 of 4 equal parts. There's 2 of the 4 equal parts. From this we see that from halves to quarters, the number of equal parts are doubled. 1 out of 2 is doubled to give 2 out of 4. Or we can write it like this. In fraction form, we say 1/2, 1 over 2. Now if we times the top by 2 and the bottom by 2, we get 2 out of 4, or 2/4. Now timesing the top and bottom by 2 actually means that we have just times the fraction by 1, because 2 out of 2 is 1 whole. So when we multiply by 1, we do not change the value of the fraction, we've just changed how it looks. So 1/2 is equal to 2/4. Let's move on to number 3. 1/2 is equal to 3/6. So 1 of 2 equal parts is exactly equal or the same size as 3 of 6 equal parts. Now from halves to sixths, the number of equal parts have been tripled. 1 of 2, both are times by 3 to get 3 of 6. In fraction form, we times the top and the bottom by 3 because it is the same as multiplying by 1. 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 3 is 6. So 1/2 is equal to 3/6. Let's use what we have learnt and complete number 5. So for number 5a, we have 1/2, and if we times the top and the bottom by 4, we get 4/8. So 1/2 is equal to 4/8. For b, we times by 6, and 2 times 6 is 12. So 1/2 is equal to 6/12. For number 6, let's have a look. We've got 1/2, and we want to know 1 out of 2 is equal to how much out of 10? Now we have seen when we write equal fractions, we have to times the top and the bottom by the same number. So the bottom we times by 5, so the top we must also times by 5, and that means that 1/2 is equal to 5/10. For b, from 2 to 16 we times by 8, so we must times the top by 8 as well, and 1 times 8 is 8. So 1/2 is also equal to 8/16. For 7, dividing by 3 is the opposite of multiplying by 3. Therefore, 3/6 is equal to 1/2. It's just the other way around. So if we are given 3/6 and we divide the top and the bottom by 3, we see that it is equal to 1/2. And we've actually just divided by 1 because 3 over 3 is equal to 1. For 8, for a, we've got 4 over 8. We divide top and bottom by 4, which gives 1 over 2. So 4/8 is equal to 1/2. b, if we divide top and bottom by 7, we get 1 over 2. So for both of these, we can get them as 1/2. For 9, let's have a look now. We've got 2 over 4 is equal to what out of 2? So at the bottom, we have divided by 2. So at the top, we must also divide by 2 so that we get an equal fraction. From this, we see the missing number is 1. 2/4 is equal to 1/2. For b, from 10 to 2, we divide by 5. So the top, we also need to divide by 5. And 5 divided by 5 is 1. And this makes sense because 5 out of 10 is exactly 1/2. For c, the bottom there, from 18 to 2, we divide by 9. So we divide by 9 at the top. What we divide by at the bottom, we must divide by at the top, and we get an answer of 1/2. Let's look at number 10. It says 3 of 6 balls in a bag are green. So let's picture that 3 of these 6 balls, that one there is green, that one there, and that one there is also green. The question is, what fraction of the balls in the bag are green? So 3 out of the 6 are green, or if we divide top and bottom by 3, in its simplest form, we can see 1/2 of the balls in the bag are green. There's 1/2 and there's the other half. So that is a better answer because it explains it in the simplest way, 1/2 and 1/2. For 11, what fraction is 4 kilometers of 8 kilometers? So we say we've got 4 kilometers out of 8 kilometers. Now we can see we are comparing kilometers to kilometers, so we are going right so far. Now 4 divided by 4 is 1 and 8 divided by 4 is 2. We have no units in our answer and the final answer is 1/2. That means that 4 kilometers is 1/2 of 8 kilometers, which makes sense. For B, what fraction is 5 hours of 10 hours? We are comparing hours to hours, but we're not going to include the units in the answer. Now 5 out of 10 is the same as 1 out of 2. This means that 5 hours is exactly 1/2 of 10 hours. Let's move on to 12. So the question here, there's a mistake. It should be 6 cupcakes are shared equally between 2 girls. So we have 2 girls, and let's get rid of that girl there and that. Okay, so 6 cupcakes are shared equally between 2 girls. So yeah, we have the 6 cupcakes and we have the 2 girls. Now, how many cupcakes does each girl get? We have 6 cupcakes that are shared equally between 2. That means each girl gets 3 cupcakes. The first girl gets that, and the second girl gets that. So each girl gets 3 cupcakes out of the 6 cupcakes. Now for B, we have to answer in fraction form. So each girl gets 3/6 of the cupcakes, or we know that that is equal to 1/2 of the cupcakes in fraction form. There's 1/2 and there's the other half. When we are sharing equally between 2, it's always best to immediately think halves. Even though you can write the fraction in a different way, like 3/6, in its simplest form, we are always going to get half. Let's study 1/3 is equal to 2/6. So yeah, we see 1 of 3 equal parts. If we shade that in here, so there's 1/3. You can do it neater. Now that is exactly equal to 2 of 6 equal parts. You see, if we go down here, it's equal to those 2 6 equal parts. From this we see, from thirds to sixths, the number of equal parts has been doubled. 1 of 3, both numbers are doubled to get 2 out of 6. So, what we actually do in simple form is that we times the top and the bottom by 2. And we know that 2 out of 2 is actually equal to 1. So when we times by 1, we don't change the value of the fraction, we just change how it looks. So here we get 2 out of 6. So 1 out of 3 is equal to 2 out of 6. Now for B, 2 out of 3, if we look at these two parts, now 2/3 is equal to 4 out of 6. And using the timesing method again, we times the top and the bottom by 2, we get 4 out of 6. So 2/3 is equal to 4/6. Let's move on to number 3. So now we're looking at quarters and eighths, and 1/4 is equal to 2/8. So the size of that 1/4 there is exactly the same as 2/8. Now, from quarters to eighths, the number of equal parts have been doubled. 1 of 4, both are doubled to get 2 out of 8. Now in symbol form, we times top and bottom by 2, so we get 2/8. Now for B, 3/4, let's represent it here. 3/4 is equal to 6 out of 8. And using fraction form, 3 times 2 is 6, and 4 times 2 is 8. So both of them, if we times top and bottom by 2 over 2, we get the equivalent fractions. For 5, 1 out of 3, if we times top and bottom by 3, we get 3 out of 9. And 2 out of 3, if we times top and bottom by 3, which is again just the same as multiplying it by 1. 2 times 3 is 6, and 3 times 3 is 9. B, writing the equivalent fractions here, we get 5 out of 20. And over there, we get 15 out of 20. For number 6, now we have to do some thinking. 1 out of 3 is equal to what out of 6? So we must think from 3 to 6, we times by 2. So what we times by at the bottom, we must times by at the top. So we times by 2 at the bottom, so we times by 2 at the top. And 1 times 2 is 2. For here, 3 to 6, again we times by 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. For B, 1/4 is equal to how many 12s? 4 times 3 gives 12, and 1 times 3 is 3. Next one, now we've simply got 3/4, so again at the bottom we times by 3, so the top we times by 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. For C, from 6 to 30 we've timesed by 5, so we have to times the top by 5 and we get 5. Again, yeah, we times by 5, and 5 times 5 is 25. And there you have your equivalent fractions. If we look at number 7, there's just a mistake here, so we're going to redo that. So, dividing by 2 is opposite of multiplying by 2. Therefore, 6/8 is equal to 3/4, or in symbol form, if we've got 6 out of 8, if we divide the top and the bottom by 2, we get 3 out of 4, or 3/4. So for 8a, divide the top and bottom there by 2, we get 1/3. For B, if we divide the top and bottom there by 4, we get 1/3 as well. And for C, if we divide top and bottom there by 8, we get 1/3 as well. Let's look at 9. Now we have to do some thinking work. From 12 to 4, we divide by 3. So the top we must also divide by 3. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. So 3/12 is equal to 1/4. And you check, we've divided by 3. And the top we've also divided by 3. For B, from 15 to 3, we divide by 5. And 5 divided by 5 at the top gives 1. So 5/15 is equal to 1/3. For C, from 30 to 5, we divide by 6. So the top we must also divide by 6, and we get 1. So the answer is 1/5. Let's move on to 10. So 8 caps are shared equally amongst 4 boys. So if we say 8 divided by 4, we get 2. So each boy gets 2 of the caps. That's 1 boy, 2nd boy, 3rd boy, and 4th boy. So for B in fraction form, each boy gets 2 out of the 8 caps. Or if we divide top and bottom by 2 there, we get 1/4. And as you can see by the diagram, 1/4, next quarter, 3rd quarter, and the last quarter. So when we share amongst 4, often you can immediately think each one is going to get 1/4, even though we can write it like that as well. Let's have a look at number 11. If we have 4/6 and we divide top and bottom by 2, we get 2/3. For B here, if we divide top and bottom by 3 there, we get 3/4. And for C, if we divide top and bottom by 2, we end up with 3/5. For 12, now we must think a bit. From 8 to 4, we divide by 2, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. For B, from 9 to 3, we divide by 3, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. For C, from 12 to 6, we divide by 2, 10 divided by 2 is 5. And that's how we have divided top and bottom to get equal fractions. For question 13, 6 of the 8 balls in a bag are blue. So let's shade them just to picture this. There's 2, 4, and 6. So 6 of the 8 balls are blue. That's the information that we are given. What fraction of the balls in the bag are blue? So we could write it as 6 out of the 8 balls, or if we divide top and bottom by 2, we get 3/4. There's 1/4, second quarter, and third quarter, and that's the fourth quarter. For 14, what fraction is 6 kilograms or 15 kilograms? So we've got 6 kilograms out of 15 kilograms, comparing kilograms to kilograms. Now 6 and 15, we can divide both of them by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. So here's a new word for you. In the simplest form, 6 kilograms is 2/5 of 15 kilograms. For B, what fraction is 10 minutes of 25 minutes? We're dividing minutes by minutes. So we have no units in the answer, and 10 and 25, to write this fraction in a smaller or simpler way, we divide top and bottom by 5, so we get 2 out of 5. So 10 minutes of 25 minutes is 2/5 of the time.